Hi everyone. In there. Hold on a minute. Is it live? You're 500 million high, Tracy. So it just won't go into the actual wall. Not if those families. No. I think he's in there.
I've left Drallon.
It's locked. You want to know? He'll be here. Yeah, they let me in. The door's locked. They let me in now. Yeah. Oh, you're putting on? I'm putting on. Is that just a room there? Or does it lead into there? I don't know. Didn't see it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hey everyone that's on Fighting for Justice Live.
Thank you. Hi everyone. We're in the Coroner's Court. This is where another lot of corruption has gone on. There's some courts here. We have to be careful of the courts and sensitive in case there's any families in there dealing with their loved ones. But what we want to do is speak to the coroner, the corrupt coroner that denied our children an inquest. Watch me down. Right, so it's not here. Right, yeah. You see that one? Yeah. Right, let me just point to the people. Thank you. This one here, this name, is the corrupt coroner who was on a 2-year suspension. That one above was the one who was going to give us an inquest. And denied our children an inquest. The only thing we can do is try and show you lot at home how bad this country is and how corrupt it is. And it's not just our families that are fighting for these things. There's hundreds of families that... Is he? Jack? Chinyere? Inyama?
Okay.
Yeah?
That's fine. Can I ask what this is?
Well, not really, because it's private. So if you could tell him, hey, Miss Blackwell is here to see him, I would appreciate that, please. Which one?
What do you want us to do?
Yeah, we all go. He's done this to thousands of families, yeah? Corrupt Coroner who was on a 2-year suspension.
Sure.
Where was he?
In there.
In there. Yeah. There's exit.
Yeah, we're here to see the coroner. My name's Inyama.
Chinyere, I've come to see you. Yeah, I've come to see you. Come to see you. Yeah, you've had letters of us and our family and hundreds of families, and you're denying my children an inquest. And let me tell you something. Come back, come on. You've been a bully in a workplace, as well as sexual harassment. So I'm sure you can deal with someone like me. Okay? The little people were here. Yeah, I bet you have to leave. How many families you done this to? Under the Coroners Act of 2009, had children, Josh, Harry and George, are entitled to an inquest. You wrote to us. Do you want to listen a moment? Us little people were here, and we deserve to be listened to, right? You wrote to us. I've got your letters here. I've got your letters. You wrote to us and said that all our questions had been answered. None had been answered. Then when we wrote again, you're telling us to give the CCTV to you so you can give it to the police, right? So if you thought all our questions were answered, why would you be asking us to give the CCTV to you for you to give to the police? Yeah, just call the police. Just call the police. Let's hope they arrest you because you're corrupt. You was on a 2-year suspension. You didn't come back in January. You came back in October. You went into the office and you took our boy's case off of Sean Cummins, who was going to give us an inquest. You're totally corrupt. Thousands of families are fighting because of you for an inquest. We're entitled to it under 2009 Coroners Act. So we would like that, please. Josh, Harry and George. Here's a song for you. Josh, George, Harry, justice for the free. I just don't think you understand. We have to make some noise. They took away our boys, and now we're going to shame the police. And you, and the CPS, and the Central Criminal Court. Here's your letter. Would you like to see what you wrote? Would you like to see what you wrote?
Would you like
How
to
many
read it out?
families? How many families, Chinyere? How many families have you done this to? How dare you deny us an inquest for our boys when Sean Cummins was in the middle of writing us a letter to give us one? Then you come in off suspension because you're corrupt. You lost all the files in the Alice Gross case on a train, didn't you? All the files. MPs have asked for your resignation. Hundreds of families have, because you was holding inquests out of hours in secret courts.
Would you like
You
to
think
look
we
a
haven't
grieving
done?
mother in the eye?
You think we haven't done any research?
Would you like to talk to
We've
the
done.
lady?
Come on, I've got your letter
face the
here.
lady and not
I've
the
got your letter here because what we're doing is showing the whole world how corrupt the UK is and what it does to parents, to the working class, because they think they won't fight back. So come on,
Show some respect.
Here's the little people. We're here fighting back now.
Show some
Come on.
respect. Actually, show this grieving
Acknowledge
mother
the
some
lady. Come
respect.
on.
I know how many families have been fighting to get an inquest for their dead children. And you're one of them. And you think it's okay to lie and say all our answers were answered when we didn't have one question answered. Not one. Come on, look at my face.
Just checking it.
Look at my face.
Talk to her.
Gary,
Look at my face.
Gary,
Talk to
Come
her.
on, I've got your letter here. I've got your letter here. What you said in it.
To the woman.
That you said we're not having one because all our questions were answered. No question was answered. And under the Coroners Act 2009, subsection 2 counteracts subsection 1. We're entitled to an inquest. And we're not having it.
Perfectly entitled to walk in here.
Come on.
Perfectly entitled to an
If we can't get justice through you corrupt lot. We're going to show the whole world what the UK does to the working class.
He's trying to run away.
We're talking to him. We're in a public building, yeah? Right, so even calling the police is civil. Even calling the police is civil. This thing.
Sort this thing. There's no escape from what you've done.
We want an inquest. We want an inquest because we're entitled to it. Your letter means absolutely nothing. It's not worth the paper it's written on. You've lied in it. You came in and took our children's file when another coroner, Sean Cummins, was writing to us for an inquest. For an inquest. And you came in, off your suspension, went in there and took our children's file. It's not nice, is it?
No, you cannot.
Yes, we are.
Please do with what? Hopefully they'll deal with you and arrest you, eh? Because you've been done for bullying in the workplace and you've been done for sexual harassment. You lost all the files on a train of that 14-year-old girl's murder. All the files.
It's going to go viral, mate.
No, don't argue with the little people. We just walk all over them, do what
We
we
are the
like.
little people.
Ben,
I want an inquest for
No.
justice now. We're entitled to it because you lot know that's one place that we could call witnesses. That's one place that we can show what the police did. But no, you come back in, you think it's okay to bully people, to bully parents, to hold inquests out of hours. We've done enough research on you. We're entitled to our inquest and we're not having it. Josh, Harry and George, remember those names?
Josh, Harry and you.
Because you will remember them for the rest of your life, because I'll make sure of it. How dare you deny our boys an inquest? How dare you assist in the cover-up in their murders and not give them justice?
Shame on you, sir.
and
Shame
how
on
dare
you.
you stand
Shame
there
on
and not
you.
look the mother in the eye while she's speaking to you?
Shame on you.
Coward.
That is what you are. You've
Look
done it.
at the
You've done it
face
to
on him.
hundreds of families. We've spoken to many. You've done it to hundreds. People who's lost their children in hospitals because it's been covered up.
Is the money worth it that you get paid? Is it really worth that?
I think it is, isn't it? That you think it's okay to come in and take our children's file and tell us we're not having one. And you say in your letter, shall I give you what you say in your letter, shall I? Let me get your letter.
Their inquest. He
Right.
denied that to them.
Yeah, and another coroner called Sean Cummins, the assistant, coroner.
Listen to them.
We've give you enough evidence to ask you for an inquest. We've give you enough. Right, let's look at your question. I think it's bullet point 5. Let's have a look.
There's about 12 of us, I suppose. You put your names down. What are their names? Mickey Mouse, mine.
First of all, you write us a very small A4 letter stating we're not having an inquest because the questions were all answered. We didn't have one question answered. Are you counting how many there is of us?
Well done.
For the police, isn't it?
Has he got enough fingers?
Right. You say at point 5, as in two above. Have the police been shown the CCTV footage referred to? If not, I would respectfully suggest they are sent it. Where do you think we got it from? That's who we got it from. But you wasn't interested in knowing that, was you? Like you're not interested in what I've got to say to you. Let's hope one day this doesn't have to happen to you and you go through what we're going through from each department in the establishment. You all cover for each other. That's why you come back.
Door's not locked, mate. It's open. So's that one. Dogs are open.
Maybe you don't think these words.
You put dictated on the 16th of November and sent to each of the deceased boys next of kin, explaining why I do not believe there is sufficient reason to resume. You didn't explain anything. What you said was all questions were answered. When we've told you not one question was answered. We have the evidence. They said the opposite to the evidence.
Can't even look the mother
They
in
said the
eye.
opposite. No, of course he can't, because he knows.
Not interested.
Because he knows.
He gets paid a lot of money for this.
Thinks he's on top
Well,
of
we're
it.
making sure everyone knows who you are,
That's what
what
we'll
your
do.
face is, and how corrupt you are. Not for just Josh, Harry, and George, for all the other parents you denied an inquest to that have had to fight for 5 years to get one. How dare you? That is what is disrespectful. Not what we're doing now. What you've done as a human being.
Subhuman being.
as a human being.
Can't describe you as a human being.
So remember Josh, Harry and George? Remember Josh, Harry and George, because you have more letters coming through, yeah? We have every piece of evidence to show this is corrupt. You can look that way, I know you can hear my words. We have every piece of evidence, our own evidence, to show this was deliberate and it was premeditated.
And wouldn't give an inquest.
You're not interested? You're not interested in natural justice? Are you not? Are you just interested in your big pay packet? Is that what you're interested in? Your big pay packet? You know what the sad thing is? Senior coroners. We've written to the senior coroner. We've written to the senior coroner. We've written to the senior coroner.
Oh,
Covering your name.
what about you? We've already got them, sir. We've already got them. We've already got them.
Oh, what about this lady's children?
Yeah, what about my son and George and Harry and the rest of the parents that you've done this to? What about ours? It's not nice, is it? It's not nice. You want to protect them, and I don't blame you. Just like we wanted to protect ours. So remember, when you get the next lot of letters through, make sure you answer them in a responsive way, and also check out the case, because you haven't checked out our boys' case at all.
Justice for our boys.
How come Sean Cummins, or Sheen Cummins, however you pronounce it, I apologise if I've said it wrong, was going to write to us, because we spoke to him, and was in the midst of writing us a letter for an inquest, and then in you come, after your suspension, walk in. You walk in.
Yes, we can. Yes,
You can't.
You can't.
Murder children inquest.
Yeah. So it's all right for you to deny murdered children inquest. Don't touch him. Oi, get off him. Get off him. Take my phone. Take my phone. Take my phone. Show it. Danny, it's all right. Get off him. Take that. I just want Danny to. Go on, no, you assaulted him. Get out of the way. You assaulted him. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's all right, Danny. It's all right. 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 It's all right.
I'm watching him.
Right, exactly. He came in and started that. So when the police come, we want him arrested for assault.
And you're not allowed to assault me.
We are sick. None of you. You're not above the law. You're not above the law.
Do you hear me?
Where's Danny? Please. Dan.
Injury, harm, loss. She lost her son. Covered it up. Do not try and assault me because I will restrain you. Is that clear?
Yes, he will. And we will do a sit-ins and arrest. We will do a sit-ins and arrest if you try and assault him.
You're not in a court, you're in a room. That is very clear.
This is an office.
Let me explain to you. You do not touch me.
And he is still not showing any.
No matter how many times you want to try and assault people, you're not helping.
You haven't helped us.
You think pushing me helps you? Didn't push you. Yes, you did. You're live on camera.
Listen, the working class have had enough of the way you elite, you political elite, you government departments treat. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. Yeah, that's it. We will wait till the police come. We will wait. The police don't frighten us because we're here in lawful rebellion. We stand under common law, so we know the law. All you know is corruption.
And he shouldn't have tried pushing me. That is assault.
That's all you know.
It's a common law country.
Exactly.
Don't discuss it. Why not? Why not?
Then you'll know. Oh, right, you're one of the crap cops as well. Yeah, the guy that assaulted first, that assaulted you, was a police officer for 30 years.
There we go.
No surprise there.
Yeah, you're probably part of the RUC in Northern Ireland. Corrupt.
He's not showing no remorse whatsoever.
Corrupt. You're not a police officer now, and you're not
He
above
was
the law.
taking a picture of something that is on show.
Ben.
Listen, they're just trying to goad something.
We're not trying to goad anything. What? We're not trying to goad anything. We want answers, and I want an inquest. And I want an inquest. I want an inquest. That's what I want. My children are entitled to it.
Will you speak to Tracy?
That inquest.
Will you sit down and have a
Of
conversation?
course I'm not going to.
No, of course he's not going to have a conversation with me. Of course he's not going to. Of course he's not going to, because he knows he's done us wrong, like he's done thousands of others wrong.
You answer me yes or no.
You're corrupt. 2 years suspension for bullying, sexual harassment, losing Alice Gross files on a train, apparently. On a train. Corrupt. And then denying our boys an inquest with no evidence, because you said every question was answered when not one was. So that's why you don't want to sit down and speak to me.
Oh, this is where the silent treatment starts again.
Over 1,000 people right now are watching you. And they will keep sharing.
So how
and
important your kids are to you.
guaranteed, because I've had messages, once we got your letter, which was a load of rubbish, after we found out you just went in that office and took that file off that other coroner, the assistant coroner, I put a post out. And the amount of messages from families I've got that you denied an inquest to.
Social media is bigger than mainstream
Children
media
are
now.
mothers of murdered children, fathers of murdered children, and you've denied us all, and you think that's okay?
What makes you think that your children are more important than anyone else's?
Were you downstairs, weren't you? Yes. No, not at all. Joining the live feed. I walked in, you were security downstairs, weren't you?
Some of you signing, some of you refuse to sign.
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't. I walked in and I asked him, hang on, stop 2 seconds. When I walked in, I said, do you need me to sign in?
No. I asked them to sign.
Yeah, and we signed in, and we signed in.
You're signing in?
Yeah, we signed in.
It doesn't matter, the front doors are open.
The police are here.
Doors were open, it's a public building. Doors were open, and it's a public building.
You were sat downstairs. I walked in on my own and I said to you, do I need to sign in? And you said, no, go through. Yep. And I walked through.
That's right.
CCTV.
Said the same to me.
Yeah, he said the same to him. He said the same to him.
Look at him, how smart, because he thinks the police are going to help him.
Please find out.
It's a
They're not
public,
gonna be there
it's a
forever,
public
are they? We will
building,
get
and
our
it's a
answers.
civil matter. Public building, civil matter. It's a civil matter, and it's a public building. Yeah, go on.
Can you step out of the way and let him
Yeah.
come out to me? So
No,
they're not allowing me to.
He told me not to move, so I'm not moving. He tried to stop.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Dan.
Civil matter.
I'm not going to speak right now until someone deals with that gentleman there that assaulted a guy here.
Good on,
and
Phil.
live feed, and this one that assaulted me.
Yep.
Absolutely fine, guys. Everyone's been recorded.
Yeah, you did.
Don't you think it's funny now the police are isn't it?
You're saying you're the victim here.
Oh dear, yeah.
It's a citizen's arrest, isn't it, when it's assault?
No, citizen's arrest.
How's it not? You can laugh all you like.
Assault.
Assault.
Common assault.
Listen, let me
Do your job. Do your job properly.
Constable, are you here under oath today?
At
Yes
the
or
minute, you're all trespassing. That's what.
No, we're not. It's a public building. We're not trespassing in a public building. George Harry, justice for the free. I just don't think you understand. We have to make some noise. They took away our boys, and now we're going to shame the police. George Harry, justice for the free. I just don't think you understand. We have to make some noise. They took away our boys, and now we're going to shame the police. Right, you lied for a start. That constable lied because we're in a public building. We're in a public building, so we're not trespassing. I said we're in a public building, so there's no trespass.
Shame on you!
It's public.
Shame on you!
It's a public building. We're not
Shame on
trespassing.
you! Shame on you!
It's a civil matter, common assault.
Yeah.
Man.
He
got assaulted with witnesses.
I can't move really from the scene of the crime.
Exactly. Nor can you. You got assaulted.
No.
I'm a witness.
Do you want the videos? No, would you like the videos?
Do you like live feeding the assault?
Name, number, station. Name, number, station.
all our phones.
Name, number, station.
There's my number.
No, name, number, station.
I'm going to give my name. P23637.
Station.
No, you required by law to give us your name.
Yeah.
Number what?
Read me the law,
It's
so I've got to
in
give you my name.
pace. It's in pace.
Give me the subsection of
Yeah.
Shame on you, officer.
We're going to deal with all of this. After the coroner's left and you're not all intimidated him?
No, are you under oath today, Councillor?
I would like him arrested. He's corrupt. I would like him arrested. He's corrupt.
Could you arrest this man? He's
He's
corrupt.
corrupt.
Constable, are you under oath today?
He's assaulted the guy.
You assaulted me.
I came to talk to him, yeah, because we've sent him many letters about an inquest for our children under the Coroners Act 2009. Under the Coroners Act of 2009, we're entitled to that inquest, yeah? We've been sending him letters. The first letter, first of all, a assistant coroner called Sean was writing to us with a date for an inquest.
Could you get your numbers 2 seconds, please,
Councillor?
Councillor?
He's been on suspension for 2 years, that coroner.
Brilliant, thank
All of
you.
a sudden,
Thank you.
in October, when they took that boy's file, yeah, wrote to us and said, we're not having an inquest, all our questions were answered. Well, we didn't have one question answered. So we went through the solicitors, yeah, wrote to him, told him that we had the CCTV, told him that we had the evidence. He then wrote back telling us that we should give the CCTV to the police. Well, hang on a moment, if you know where we got the CCTV from, if you've really looked into our case, you would already know that the police had already seen the CCTV, yeah, and expanded it and messed with the CCTV anyway. So then we've sent another letter, which he hasn't responded to yet. And under the Coroners Act of 2009...
Isn't trespass a civil offence?
Josh, Harry and George suffered a violent death. We're entitled by law to an inquest, which he is denying. So I came here to speak to him. As soon as he see us, he stood over there, didn't want to talk to us. He barged into this gentleman here. Another man come in when one of our friends were just taking a picture of something that isn't data protected and was assaulted by a security guard.
Hey, look, I appreciate
It wasn't security guard, it was a head
No,
coroner.
you don't, because you know what? I know what you're going to do. I see it all the time, right? Every time we come out to try and prove something, just like when we went to the Attorney General's office, just like when we went to the CPS, just like we've come here today. Excuse me, I'm not obliged to give that. Just like, well, I'm talking to this gentleman, okay? It's rude to butt in. And like I said, I'm not obliged. I know the law.
It's not for any issues,
no,
just because
but
I'd like to
just
address
saying,
you by your name.
Well, it doesn't matter. You don't need to. I'm not addressing you by your name, right? Every time, then what happens when the police are called, instead of arresting the criminals, which that coroner is, you come and threaten us. I know you haven't at the moment. I know you haven't at the moment. Not yet. Right? Not at the moment. Yeah? With arrest, or we get told lies like we're in a private building and we're trespassing when we're actually in a public building and we're not trespassing and it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter.
No, that's what so what we're saying is that we're not here to say leave. We can't, side on any side. All we have to do is prevent a breach of the peace.
No. Yeah, which there isn't. We come to talk. We even said, well, why don't just me and you sit in here and they'll all go and have this conversation. Yeah, because we are sick as a working class of being ignored by the political elite. You've got police constables. It says officer, but you're a constable. I know it says it above it, right? You're a constable. Remember that. Because they're trying to make you be something else. I'm sure when you signed up to become a policeman, you wanted to investigate crimes, not just protect the political elite, which is what happens, right?
We're here, as I said, because there's something going on here. We're trying to prevent a breach of the peace.
Yeah, well, there
we're
isn't.
trying to understand what's going on. What I'm saying is,
he's been assaulted.
Can you
and
not
he's been
see how it
assaulted.
would seem to that person quite intimidating?
Not really, no. Not really. It's more insulting. It's more insulting for me.
We said we'd go if you talk to this lady.
Okay, I appreciate that, but
We'll go.
right now we can't facilitate that happening just yet.
Well, no, he's already said no when we asked him that. You know.
So I think that this has to be taken up with your solicitors and whoever else.
We've done that. We've done that.
Have they been
This
able
is the
to-
point.
Okay.
This is the point. This is how we get to this stage. Yeah, because we get ignored. Like the Attorney General, I've tried for 10 months to get an appointment from him. Yeah, letter after letter. Just see the evidence we've got. Just see the evidence we've got. Yeah, and then make your no, but I'm giving you a bit of information, yeah, and we get told no, and then what happens? They call for you lot to protect them. Doesn't matter what has happened to us working class or our children, because they use you lot to protect them.
It's only
It's
a
you
public
lot,
building.
actually, that need to wake up because they've destroyed your job. They've destroyed what you do, and I'm sure each and every one of you that have signed up to serve and protect the public is the something that you want to do, which is not happening in this country no more, because it's us that get picked on. And all we want is natural justice that should be natural. And the police should assist in that natural justice.
This proves they don't talk to us.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers for inviting me in. I'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, I'll be back. See you again.
There's a family out there. There's a family.
Smile. Smile.
Don't be silly.
It's family and his wife. It's family. Come.
Just heard them say that if we don't leave, then they're going to seize our phones. So, obviously, I don't want my phone seized. That's all. Yeah. My coat's in here, isn't it? Yeah, come on, because there's a... Yeah, help Kim. That's all right. Don't worry, I won't let them give it. Just to show you all, I'm sorry that, you know, we have to do these things. Thank you, Yellow Vestas, again. Amazing people who just want to make this country safe again. Show the people what we have to suffer.
We try.
And by showing the people, it's another way of getting the truth out there. Thank you, everyone.
No, well done.
You know. All right. Right, let's try. Right, it's phone. I'm going to have to come off the phone.